Marcus found this sad, but Tanaka explained, "You find it sad because you're avoiding it. A samurai does not avoid it. He faces it. And when you face death enough times, it stops controlling you." Chapter 4. The Practice of Fire. The first week was a mind hell. Every morning, Marcus sat down and forced himself to picture the end. And every morning, his mind fought against it with every reason possible. This is not healthy. You are wasting time. You should be working on the business. But he kept going. And something strange started happening in the second week. The fear began to lose its strength. Not because he was distracted from it, but because he was actually looking at it. And when you look at any fear directly for long enough, it loses the special power it once had over you. The worry about the business, it was still there, but now it seemed less. Because, compared to death, complete ending, losing a business was something he could handle. The samurai understood something deep about fear. You cannot control whether you feel fear, but you can control whether fear controls you. A Stanford University brain scientist who has been studying fear reactions for 18 years has found something interesting. When you again and again put your brain in front of a scary thing in a safe place, the amygdala, the part of the brain in charge of the fear reaction, really lowers its activity. The brain learns that the thing is not a real danger to life. This is the way behind exposure therapy. But Tanaka did not stop at the fear of death. He took Marcus deeper. You faced body ending. Now face social ending. He explained the second rule of Bushido Jin. Kindness through strength. But before you can reach kindness, you need to remove the need for outside approval. Samurai were trained from a young age to be completely uncaring about public opinion, not out of pride, but because a warrior who needs approval is a warrior that can be controlled. And a warrior that can be controlled is a weak warrior. Tanaka gave Marcus a strange-sounding task. Do something in public that is embarrassing every week. Not something mean or rude, but something that would on purpose invite judgment. Week 1, wearing clothes that do not match at all in public. Week 2, singing loudly on a crowded subway. Week 3, dancing alone in a busy square. Marcus resisted. This is silly. How does this help me with the business? Tanaka was direct. You still think your problem is the business. It is not. Your problem is that you cannot exist without approval. You need people to think you are successful, smart, able, and that makes you weak. Because when approval goes away, and it always does at some point, you fall apart. A samurai can lose everything and remain whole because he does not get a sense of self from anything outside. He is the steel, not the sword, not the armor, not the victory, the steel. Chapter 5. The Death of the Ego. Marcus did the first task with great embarrassment. He left the house, wearing a bright flower shirt, pants with stripes that did not match, and a silly hat. Every look he got on the street was like a hit to the ego. His brain screamed, "Everyone is judging. You look like a fool. This is not needed." But he kept walking, and after 30 minutes, he realized that nothing happened. No one attacked him. No one insulted him. Most people did not even care. And the ones who did, their opinions did not change anything in his life. The second week, he sang on a crowded subway. The embarrassment was even more strong, but he noticed something. The discomfort came all from him, not from other people. Most of them smiled. Some even recorded him. And in the end, he left the train, completely unharmed. The third week, he danced alone in the square. And for the first time, he felt something different. Not relief, not comfort, but freedom. Freedom to not need anyone's approval. Freedom to exist exactly as you are without changing. Freedom to be judged and remain whole. The samurai called this mujo. Everything changes. Everything is short-lived. Approval is short-lived. Disapproval is short-lived. Success is short-lived. Failure is short-lived. The only lasting thing is the spirit you forge. Chapter 6. The Steel Test. Marcus was beginning to understand. But Tanaka was not finished. The third rule of Bushido was the most tough. Ji, doing right through right action even when it costs everything. Do you know the difference between iron and steel? Tanaka asked, holding the katana again. Iron bends under pressure. Steel keeps its shape. An iron spirit does the right thing when it is easy. A steel spirit does the right thing, especially when it is not. He looked directly at Marcus. You have to make a decision about your business, and I know you have been avoiding it. Marcus swallowed hard. Tanaka was right. There was a decision he had known he needed to make for weeks. Fire his co-founder, who was also his best friend since college. His friend was not doing well. He was not motivated. He was pulling the company down. But Marcus had avoided the talk because, well, he was his best friend. How do you tell someone who built everything with you that they are no longer part of the project? You are putting feelings of comfort above. Doing right, Tanaka said. That is iron. Iron bends when pressed. You are hurting. Your honesty to avoid discomfort. Steel does not negotiate. Steel does what needs to be done, no matter the personal cost. And until you learn to do that, you will continue to crack under pressure. The samurai had an idea called giri, duty above feeling. It does not mean being cold or mean. It means that when you know what the right action is, you do it, even if the process is uncomfortable. A samurai who saw his lord doing wrong had a duty to speak up, even knowing it might cost him his life. Not because it was easy, but because it was right. Marcus spent 3 days worrying over the decision. Every time he picked up the phone to set the meeting, his mind made 1,000 reasons. Maybe he will get better. Maybe I am being unfair. Maybe I can wait another month. But on the 4th day, he remembered. Steel does not negotiate. Steel keeps its shape under pressure. He set up the meeting. Chapter 7. The impossible conversation. The conversation was one of the hardest things Marcus had ever done in his life. His friend did not react well. There was anger. There were blames. There was the end of a 12-year friendship in 45 minutes. Marcus left that room, feeling beaten, emotionally destroyed, wondering if he had done the right thing, wondering if it was worth it. But when he arrived at the dojo that night, Tanaka looked at him and simply nodded. Do you feel the pain? Yes. Good. That means you have heart. But you did what needed to be done anyway. That means you have a spirit of steel. Iron avoids pain. Steel accepts pain as a cost of keeping honesty. You were forged today, and now you know you can do impossible things. The samurai understood that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. And honesty is not doing the right thing when it is easy. It is doing the right thing especially when it destroys you inside. This is Hagane. No, Ishi. Will of steel does not mean not feeling. It means feeling everything and acting correctly anyway. Chapter 8. Daily practice. But Tanaka knew that big moments do not build an unshakable spirit. Daily discipline does. The 4th rule of Bushido, respect through ritual. And here was the secret Marcus had not expected. Samurai did not depend on motivation. They depended on form. Do you know why ceremonies exist? Tanaka asked as he prepared tea with exact careful movements. Because form creates real thing. When you repeat a form correctly every day, in the end you become the form. He explained that. Samurai woke up at the same time every day. They did the same practices in the same order because they understood that discipline could not depend on how you felt. Marcus had tried plans before, but he always broke them when he did not feel like it. Tanaka laughed when he heard this. Feeling like it is not important. Do you think samurai always felt like training in the mornings in the freezing winter? They did it because it was the way, and the way does not negotiate with feelings. Tanaka created a specific form. For Marcus, not just thinking, but a complete set. 4:30 a.m. wake up. No, negotiations. Picture for 15 minutes. 100 perfectly done wooden. Sword cuts. Cold shower for a full 3 minutes. Breakfast made with full attention. After all this, the work began. You're going to do this for 100 days straight, Tanaka said. No exceptions, no negotiation. Sick, traveling, tired. It does not matter. The form continues. Marcus started arguing about being able to change and balance. Tanaka cut him off right away. Do you want steel or iron? Iron is able to change. It bends. It changes shape. Steel is stiff. It keeps its shape. You have spent 34 years being able to change. How is it working for you? Now, I will open a side note to explain this point better. There are several videos on the channel talking about the importance of being able to change, including the video I recently posted about how to reach shinobi discipline, which talks a bit about being able to change when you face problems. When I talk here about not being able to change, I am referring to those people who are always making up a reason to put off, always looking for the perfect plan, the best time to train, the perfect workout, the perfect study. Ways. There are people who negotiate so much with themselves that they never get anywhere but live stuck in an endless loop. Let me tell you a secret. There is no perfect moment for anything. There's only now. While we live waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is focused on giving the best possible in the conditions they have. This is having a will of steel. It is waking up and saying, I will make it happen no matter how many problems I face. This was exactly the feeling that Master Tanaka was trying to give to Marcus. The first week was a mind war. Every day at 4:30 a.m., the alarm clock would go off and Marcus' mind would right away start negotiating. You only slept 5 hours. You need rest. One day will not make a difference. But Marcus remembered the steel. Steel does not negotiate. Feet on the ground. Movement. The cold shower was torture for the first few days. His body would really freeze before he even got in. But he understood something deep. The discomfort of the cold shower lasted exactly 3 minutes. But if he avoided it, the discomfort of having broken his form would last all day. On day 7, something small but important happened. He woke up 2 minutes before his alarm. His body was beginning to get used to it. On the 14th, the sword cuts that had seemed endless the first week now flowed easily. The body had learned the form. On the 21st, he realized he was no longer mentally arguing every morning. He simply woke up and did it. The process was becoming automatic. A behavior researcher at the University of Oxford, who has been studying habit making for 15 years, explains, discipline is not a limited supply that you use up. It is a muscle you make stronger through repeated use. When you remove arguing from a habit through making it automatic, you free up huge mind energy for other areas of life. The samurai understood this by feeling centuries before modern science proved it. Chapter 9. The collapse of the system. But on day 32, everything fell apart. Marcus caught a bad case of the flu, a fever of 39 degrees Celsius. His body was completely worn out. He woke up at 4:30 a.m., and for the first time, he physically could not get out of bed without feeling like he was going to faint. His mind right away jumped to finally a real reason to stop. You are sick. No one would expect you to do the practice today. Rest. But then he remembered something Tanaka had said. The real test of steel does not come when everything is working. It comes when the system falls apart. Anyone can be disciplined when it is easy. Steel is disciplined when it is impossible. Marcus did not do the 100 sword cuts. Physically impossible. But he did do 10 cuts while sitting on the bed. He did not take the 3-minute cold shower, but he did wash his face with cold water. He did not think for 15 minutes, but he did do 3 minutes. The form had been changed, but not given up, and that made all the difference, because the danger is not having to change. The danger is using change as a reason to stop completely. Once you create a break, your brain learns that breaks are allowed, and breaks become the usual. The samurai had a simple rule. Practice never stops. It can be changed but never removed, because the moment you allow a complete exception, you are no longer practicing Bushido. You are practicing what is easy. In the channel's latest video, we also talk about this very issue by telling the story of the young shinobi, and understanding this rule can change your game forever. I know people who live an all or nothing life. People who would rather not do something than do it in a way that is not perfect in theory. But understand this, perfection does not exist. While you waste time trying to be perfect, someone appears who is sometimes less smart but is good at one thing, doing. So write down this rule and use it in your life. 1 will always be greater than 0. On the day you cannot, study for 2 hours, study for 1 hour, but never 0. On the day you cannot, practice for 1 hour, practice for 30 minutes, but never 0. This applies to everything in life. Chapter 10, The Inner Storm. On day 50, Marcus faced a different test. His business began to show signs of getting better. A new investor appeared. The remaining team was doing better. Things were looking up. And right away his mind began to whisper, you do not need this extreme discipline anymore. You have already proven your point. You can relax now. This is what Tanaka called the poison of success. More dangerous than failure, because it is more tempting. Failure is clear. Tanaka explained. You know you need to change, but success fools you. It makes you think you can go back to your old habits because now you deserve to relax. Samurai understood that winning is the moment of greatest danger, because that is when you stop making the blade sharp, and a blade that is not sharpened in the end becomes dull. Marcus almost fell into this trap. For 3 days straight, he thought about taking a break from his plan, sleeping until 6 a.m., skipping the sword cuts, going back to the comfortable hot baths. But he remembered why he had started. It was not about saving the business. It was about forging a spirit that would not break no matter what happened outside. The business getting better was not important to practice. The practice existed on its own from results. This is Hagane no Ishi. Will of Steel does not depend on winning or losing. It exists as an unchanging constant. The process is tough. It will require you to wake up when every bone in your body wants to sleep. It will require you to face fears you have spent your whole life avoiding. It will require you to do the right thing even when it is not easy. But in the end, you will not be the same person. You will be steel, and steel does not break. The samurai spent centuries perfecting this process because they understood something basic. In a world of chaos, uncertainty, and sure suffering, the only thing you can truly control is the strength of your own spirit. You cannot control whether your business will fail, whether people will let you down, whether life will knock you down. But you can control whether you will get back up and whether you will keep going. This is Bushido. This is Hagane no Ishi. This is what it means to have a will of steel and an unbreakable spirit. If this video helped you in any way, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you do not miss the next content. Remember, you do not need more motivation. You need fewer weak parts. And the only way to remove weak parts is by going through the fire. If you have watched this far, you have already taken the first step. Most people do not even get that far. But getting there is the easy part. The hard part is using these teachings in your life. Start small, but never stop. Thank you very much for your attention. Until the next video.